Hello, once again, this is Brother Teacher. This is an instructional video for all of my minor, novice, beginner ranks in martial arts. Those people who have just started martial arts, or even those people who have not began and don't quite know where to begin in martial arts. I'm going to go over some basic things that everyone studying any martial arts style or system should know. Give me a moment. I need to clear my glasses just for a moment. Not that I really have to. Okay. First of all, let's understand this, comprehend this. There are many martial arts styles and systems of fighting across the world. Most of us are familiar with those from Asia, primarily Japan, China, and Korea. In China, you typically would have your what we call kung fu or gung fu, many systems of gung fu or kung fu. In Japan, you would have typically karate and jiu-jitsu, judo, aikido, and even ninjutsu. And your kobudo, some like to pronounce it kobudo, which is your weapons. That spans from your nunchaku or nunchuk, some people pronounce them, your bow, staff, your jo, staff, which is the shorter version of the bow, your kama, your sai, and your samurai sword, and so forth. In Korea, you have primarily taekwondo, tongsudo, hapkido, and subakdo, mudokwan, and kuksowan, and so on, just to give you a foundation. Now, many of these arts are similar because of their evolution and sometimes occupation of other countries during war times. You will see some forms also called pums, hums, or kata. That is a series of movements depicting an individual attacking and defending imaginary opponents for the most part in order to develop technique, timing, speed, breathing, stance, and so forth. Now, what I'm going to show you, some of you that are watching this may already know this. Be patient, comprehend, understand that there are people who don't know this and know these things. So everyone has to be fed. Everyone has to learn on their level. If this is not for you, then it's not for you. But if you can glean something from this, so be it. One thing I want to say is that this video serves not the purpose of demeaning anyone, being critical in a negative sense of anyone's style and or system. This is a tool. Please write it on your thumb, refer to it often, and practice on these techniques. One thing you want to learn to do in martial arts irrespective of the system or style, is to breathe. We were born naturally breathing through our nose and out our mouths. It's no different in martial arts for the most part. You should never exhale all of the air out of your lungs when you are breathing and exercising or performing a technique. There should always be some oxygen or air still in your lungs. For example, I'm just going to walk through this. That's a punch. Still had air in my lungs. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to punch. Still had air in my lungs, so I could exhale even more air. The purpose and or reason behind that is, if you were to strike someone or strike at someone and you ki or yell, then that person would hit you possibly. And if you didn't have any more oxygen in your lungs, it could wind you or even harm you. So if the person hit you while you were ki or using your ki or your yell, you can still exhale and not have the wind knocked out of you, giving them an unfair advantage because of your lack of training or using common sense. Now, when we breathe, we inhale and we exhale normally. Here, in martial arts, we put a little more excitement in our techniques when we attack and defend. So it's not normal when you exhale. We usually accompany our exhalation with a yell, known by some as a ki in Korean martial arts, and a kiap, similar sound in the Japanese Okinawan styles or systems. The purpose of that, twofold. Number one, to expel the energy into the target, and the yell also helps to distract or throw off or even frighten your would-be assailant, attacker, or opponent. It's one thing, for example, to stand here. My arm is here to protect me from the front and punch. And I say, that's okay. But to add to that punch or that technique, that throws my opponent's psyche off, startles my opponent. Most people in everyday society don't yell like that. So it is surprising to your opponent when you yell. And there is a spirit behind it, a spirit yell. So let me back up a little bit. Let's go through some traditional karate movements. Hands come here. I'm exaggerating a little bit. That is attention. You bow. Hands come here. My right leg's going to step out. What we call chunbi or ready stance. Here, here, and there. In Korean, Chariot, Kongye, Chunbi. That's the salutation. Hands are flat like this along your sides. You bow, showing respect. That's custom. And that's your ready stance. And then techniques are generally given to you from that point. Okay? Attention. Bow. Us. Chunbi. That's basic. Now, we have the what some refer to as a fighting stance. Some a defensive posture. But before we go to that, real quick, we will start with the natural stance. I'm standing here normal with my arms alongside me. This is a front natural stance. I'm not assuming a posture, defensive or offensive. This is a front natural stance. When I place my left leg in front of me, it becomes a left natural stance. Same is true on the opposite side. A right natural stance. Back to the front. Now, look at the position of my hands. In the military, we would call this parade rest. In the martial arts, we're just going to call it rest. So that is a stance as well. This is my position. That's rest. So we had attention, bow, ready stance, and we had left natural, right natural, forward natural stance, and rest. Those are basics. Now, your fighting posture, we would typically say fighting stance, that's the preparatory command. You would give a signal to move into that stance. Ay. That's your fighting stance. Switch stance, that's a preparatory command. On the signal, ay, ay. Relax. Again, fighting stance, preparatory. The command to do that, ay, ay. Switch stance, preparatory. The command to do that would be a kiap. Ay, ay. Rest. Those are basics. Now, let me demonstrate for you a block. There are no true blocks in martial arts. Even though we use the expression or the term block, blocks really don't exist. For a block to exist, it would mean that you are meeting one force head on. We never meet one force head on in martial arts. We redirect or we parry an attack. So even though we use the term block all of the time, we're really redirecting or parrying, sending the technique somewhere else so that it does not make direct contact with us. Comprehend? I will demonstrate what most of us know as a block right now, but if you stick with me, you will learn more as we go along. Let's start from the ready position. Hands here. Okay? That's Chung B. Your right hand comes over to your left earlobe. Let's pretend that this is a cup and I'm dipping it into water and I'm going to throw it that way. Here, the right hand retracts to my right hip. Let's go back to Chung B. Here, this is the preparatory position. And we'll go here. Do not go beyond your shoulder. Your body's not there. Your body stops at the shoulder. So from here, it's from here. That's an outside block. Now, when we execute the right side, we're going to place that down in front of us and do the same thing, outside block. Here. Left in front, here, right in front, and down by the groin area, and out. Ready stance. Okay, now, the reason your arms were in different positions is because we started in Chung B or in a ready stance. You had to get your arms into position at first, so we start here. Okay? Out, Now, since the arm is already extended here, we go here and out. Back to ready stance. Now we're going to do it with some speed here, and we're going to execute an exhalation or ki as we do the technique. Oi! 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 Ready stance. Now, a little differently. Real time, if you will. Chumbi. Ho hop, which means breathe. Ho hop again. And that concludes this session. I'll see you in the next video. Keep these things in mind and practice these techniques. This is Brother Teacher.